Yo, yo, yo. All right. So is it there? Am I back? I guess I am. Let's see here. All right. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. We're back. We're back. I guess for another manuscript. Is it working? Is it working? It's working fine, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like I am back. We are back here. Let's get a little bit of applause here. Let's get a little bit of an applause. All right. Well, well, well. That's so we're back. It's the manuscript, man. What's up, everyone? It's your boy AL-BEATZ. With the 80th here. Deciding to just jump on a Monday for Monday manuscript. Since it's been a while since the gang has gotten on, and so it's been summer madness, as you know it. So um, a lot to kind of run through. So I did have just a thought to get on anyway, and just share a couple of thoughts about some things that have been going on, not only with myself for a bit, but also just man in the world in the spirit of the 80th and the manuscript. Because there's definitely a lot that still has been happening where we discussed here, and I figured just lay some of my thoughts down on again this lovely Monday, August 11th, 2025. We're still moving right along. So I'm here now. Let's see, where should I begin? I also have to make sure um, that I have all my settings correctly because OBS was already giving me some problems that I didn't anticipate. But so far, so good, man. So again, hope everyone's doing well. If you're tuning in, again, is your boy Al. It's the manuscript where we have our live stream Monday discussions on just things of culture related to culture, politics, um, focus on men and our stories and things we find and things pertinent to us. Um, and this is a platform for expression, to share your thoughts as men, and to try to grow, right? And I think uh, so. Jumping right into it, there's been a lot of things happening uh, in the summer so far, globally here in New York City on the East Coast, and again, just all over the world. That I think speaks to again where we are in society. I think there's a lot of ways that if you watch the news, and I'm gonna get into some of the things that's been standing out to me, um, just where men are and all of it, and how we are represented. Um, it makes me think we're headed in a pretty terrible direction. Um, and so I do think uh, uh, there's a lot of our ancestors and people before us who fought hard and, I mean, gave up their lives just so that future generations, us included, and beyond, can enjoy certain freedoms and can feel safe, you know. And they did that specifically by calling out the bullshit, by calling out the violence, by calling out the aggression, by calling out the greed, um, by calling out the snakes, and also confronting it and that energy wherever it lies. But our ancestors and folks on the ground today um, continue to fight these certain larger systems that are contributing to a lot of the problems that I think I'm seeing. So how am I feeling today? I mean, coming off of this weekend, I'm actually pretty grateful. I had a great time. We was out. It was the Dominican parade, the Manhattan one here in the city. So for those who may not know, New York City often has a parade done in the names of many culture and Dominicans in particular here in the city. Um, since we're such a large population here on the city and the East Coast. Oh, so well, sorry about that. That's funny. I'm trying to use a little method here. Sorry about that. So anyway, yeah, I'm using Google Meet to because I Zoom doesn't work for some reason. Otherwise, I would have used Zoom for the blur feature. But I'm going with Google Google Meet because it just works better. Anyway, where was I? Losing my train of thought. God, I did. All right. The Dominican break. So anyway, we it was the Manhattan one yesterday, and so uptown in the Heights, Upper Manhattan, there was a bunch of activities, as you can imagine. Well, all around the city, but in that area specifically, there was a lot of events, activities. Just it was wonderful. So I was up there with my folks, my family, friends, loved ones, um, and we just had a ball, man. We went to uh, a Que Lo Que event, which is live típico, and you know, it's pretty popular now in the city. I think anyone who's in the city, who's looking for, who's searching live music, who's been looking for a place that offers, uh, well, where you could find Dominican culture. Really, I mean, to its heaviest, because I mean, it's one of the few parties out in the city where people dance, and they're mostly dancing to Dominican music, being the merengues, the bachatas, the salsas, um, típico. Yeah, I know salsa. Anyway, so the most I think that the biggest highlight with this event is just that it's well known for the crowd that it continues to bring over the years. And it's folks who are Dominican yours, you know, us that were probably like born here or have their roots here um, for a while, and it's really amazing because it's a callback to what a lot of our childhoods have been like, and not just Dominicans. I think a lot of Caribbeans. I speak to folks from Jamaica, from West Indian folks. They say the same thing about their childhoods. They believe there was a lot more dancing when they were younger. And so yeah, this event, the Karaoke, is pretty dope because it's a callback to those times. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be those times. I think we still need that today. We need dancing. We need more dancing and party. And Keloke is not the only spot in the city that will play, bachata, merengue, um, dancing, music you can dance to, grab a partner and dance to. There are other spots that play it, but again, the level of like participation on the dance floor, you don't really see it. And plus, there's a lot of places that don't really play music you could dance to for a long period of time. That's also another issue, I think. And I understand, dembow, Afro beats is especially dembow is one of the hottest is the hottest thing out. Shit, since I mean, look, shout out to dembow, man, because people thought it was gonna die in 2009, 2008 when Pepe came out, and it's still here. So shout out to that genre. I think is amazing. But truth be told, is that now it's like that's the only thing that's played. I think I wouldn't even be surprised if the younger generation of New Yorkers who are growing up alongside Dominicans, if they think that dembow is like the only Dominican genre. 'Cause we're pretty associated with dembow. Um, and yes, you can partner up and dance dembow with someone. But there's a lot of music that gets played in the club where you could grab someone and grind on them. It's not you don't want to grind on everybody all the fucking time. If that's not the party you're going to. Sometimes it's good to switch it up. And I think again, growing up in house parties and things like that, and apartment parties is I'm used to switching things up. It's not just like we're gonna dance and grind all night. Like we'll dance our bachata or salsa. So anyway, I went off on a little rant to talk about how dancing is important, but it's also good for the soul, man. Again, so I enjoyed going to the event. Had fun. I mean, I have my gripes with it, but that's because party culture in general needs improvement. I think across the board. Um, but yeah, man, I hope to. I'll likely be at another one, and at the end of the month because Rubio El Acordeon, who's a top Dominican artist at the moment, he's gonna be performing live there. So I'll probably be there. And actually, I just remember that I went live on the 80th. I'm not sure if any of our subscribers caught on or they got the notification, but I went on live yesterday. So if folks are tuning in, you got to see a bit of the party. So unfortunately, my phone died, so I didn't go live for any longer. But um, if I'm able to repeat for the next event, I'll make sure to have my phone fully charged and ready to go so that I can play some of this. So I can actually showcase the event through the live stream. So yeah, man. Doing having that event and then Saturday just linked up with some friends again, celebrating a birthday. It was amazing. I got to introduce my partner to more of my friends. It was a good time. We all had a good time as always. At Olivia's, shout out to Olivia's in the Bronx. Another dope spot that had that energy of a club where everyone's having a good time. You know, it was like standing on top of couches type of vibe. There's no couches in there, but you know what I mean. And so that was dope. I enjoyed that as well. And yeah, the summer's been, I titled this Summer Madness Continued, because it is, and but so far I can't complain. I wish um, my goal is to try to get in the water as much as possible, do water activities through the month of August, since I did not get to do much of that throughout July. And yeah, I hope for those out there tapping in, I hope if you haven't been enjoying any water activities, hopefully in the summertime, especially to the folks on the East Coast, um, please, I hope this is your reminder to try to plan something, even if it's an hour or something. You're outside. I mean, I've been so deprived of water activities that like I was riding my scooter, um, and there was a hydrant, a pump open, and instead of dodging it, I just ran right through it. I just doesn't even matter. I'm like, It's been a while. Shout out to Rob Hegan. It's been a while, so I was just like, let me hit the pump, and there you go. So just enjoy that. So if you're out there, just make sure you're enjoying some to some degree. You're doing something to enjoy at least one bit of summer. Again, for us folks in the East Coast, where we don't get a lot of hot weather throughout the year. We gotta enjoy it, man. So, 'cause as we know, these days are counting down quick. I mean, the last live stream we got on, I think, was shortly after July 4th, and it's been pretty much a month since. So, it's I want to acknowledge that on our behalf, but things have been pretty hectic on a personal things for myself, and Rob Hegan, of course. So it's just been challenging for us to coordinate schedules and then get another one in, even individually. So, but we're here now. I'm here, and we'll continue rocking. And the good news is that I've been really making some music, some fire music. So I thought for today's manuscript, I'll end it with a beat making session. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm gonna add that in there, just for you know, it's about time. It's about time. Um, and I've been working on some stuff here. So maybe with today's stream, I'll end it with some music, and I'm pretty sure push myself to drop this summer tape. I still got tunes in my head, Volume One. It's still out on all streaming platforms. You can find it on YouTube, of course. If you just need some chill music, I think I got some awesome instrumentation in there. I think I got beats if you're looking for an introduction, if you're looking for an interlude, if you're looking for a whole track, I got some instruments on there. If you just want to listen to something that's chill, tunes in my head, um, check what your favorite beat, add it to your favorite playlist, and just enjoy, man. I'm happy if folks just listen to my beat, man. Um, it always makes me happy. So, with this next tape is gonna be a lot more. Well, you'll see towards the end. If you stick around for the stream, you'll see what the sound of this next tape is gonna be shaping up to be. Um, it's gonna be a good one. And it's gonna be very different than tunes in my head. There you go. So the hardest part is probably going to be coming up with a cool name, because I mean I could call it Tunes in My Head Volume 2, I guess, and then just drop whatever, put whatever beats on there. Anyway, so let's see. I'm gonna try to set some things up here on the side, and test some things real quick. But yeah, the news, aside from being grateful, um, aside from being grateful, I do still feel, um, I gotta say, I'm feeling, uh, I'm trying not to, but I'll put it out there. There's a bit of worry that I'm sitting with. I want to say, um, I've been sitting with just concern, uh, because uh, I don't, I kind of don't enjoy too much like TV these days. I mean, these days I have been actually. That's one highlight. So I know I just said I haven't been enjoying TV, and I quickly said I have because I was thinking of watching White Lotus recently, so I was able to catch up, and just that's a show I've seen and kind of like tuned out, But on my day to day, I'm constantly looking at like my feed is filled with news stuff. Shout out to my guys, man. In the group chat, we're constantly also talking about news ourselves, funny stuff, but we mostly share news, and there's a lot of intense things happening in the news. So that's where I was really heading at with this. It's pretty concerning how bad things uh, have really become for us in society. I'm So that's where I'm sitting with concern, trying not to. Um, I'm trying not to sit with this concern. I do try to think positive and be optimistic, if you will, about the future. But man, it is getting harder and harder each day to be optimistic, man. Boy, it is difficult to try to stay optimistic with the stuff that happens, man. I'm like, where do we begin? I'm trying to think where to begin with y'all, but let's begin with this one here. Let me. I just realized something. I hope it doesn't mess up the screen, because again, y'all, I'm still your boy's still trying to multitask the situation. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how can. Am I still there? Okay, I messed myself up a little bit, but I guess I can just. All right, let me just drop this right. It's like this. All right, there you go. Maybe I could raise it a bit. That's fine with me. All right. Uh, let's see. Then it's all right. So I got that part right. All right. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, I got distracted, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to show you. All right, there you go. Oh no, that's not what I'm trying to show you. See, it's killing me smalls, y'all. So I'm trying to, figure a quick situation out that this is not helping me. Well, there you go. So now that you see it on your screen, I'm gonna get right to it, man. It's the violence, man. The violence is we're here. When we got on the live earlier, we earlier this month, Rob and I had discussed how like it's um just how challenging, man, just how freaking challenging it is that uh it will be in the summer, that it's going to be what we call a hot summer. And it was really becoming challenging because it it became that, just that, you know what I'm saying, for lack of a better word. It became exactly that. um you know we just hit a bad place, man. We seem to have hit a bad place with the violence. And so one of the news that rocked me recently, and oh my lord, I'm gonna have to put this microphone down. Um, One of the news that rocked me recently uh, is this young man. Well, no, well, it's his basketball tournament that apparently has been canceled as a result of violence. Um, so that's been the issue that's been plaguing the Bronx. So in White Plains, and I have the I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just kind of like lost because my screen is doing all types of things that I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Not cooperating with me, which is like more frustrating. But such is life, where things participate and sometimes they don't. Man, this totally killing me. It's awful. trying to I'm trying to rework this thing, y'all. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm totally I should have had this already set up perfectly fine. And I don't have an intermission screen, so I do feel I do not feel like I'm doing it justice because I did not have the screen that I'm supposed to have. Okay, so I do apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being patient. I think I finally got it. Let's see, because that looks horrendous what I have in the background going on right now. So let's go with this. All right, there you go. Are we fixed? Are we live? We fixed. There you go. We're back. All right, we're back. We're here. We're making it. All right. So, I didn't realize how loud. All right. 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 Thank you, Jesus, Lord. So kind, ladies and gentlemen. So, as we see here, starting off this news, man, in the Bronx, we're already going there. So apparently, and there was 3 Bronx residents that are recovering from a shooting in White Plains, man, the Bronx. Man. So according to News 12 here, I don't know why it came out with Long Island. This is what we're seeing. So I'm gonna play the clip. All right,
Tonight,
get us a minute, but don't allow. All right, so
AARP is celebrating
ads, sorry. Don't want to hit no ads, so let's be a little bit more. Wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry, y'all don't even see the screen I'm looking at. Oh my lord, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to figure this out for you. Oh, that's not the window I want. Oh, that's not the window I want. Why is it? All right, so now Safari's this is being ridiculous. Okay, there you go. Okay, sorry about that. All right, we're back. Oh, production's killing me. Sorry, Melanie. Thank you, Melanie, for the
gunman who left 3 people hurt in White Plains.
shout out to
Let's
News
get
12.
right
This
to
is
News
News
12's
12.
Melanie Palmer with what we know so far. Melanie.
There are a lot of questions from people who live around Church Street here in White Plains about what sparked that gunfire and when the people behind it will be caught. It happened around 10 o'clock last night as a basketball tournament game was ending at Gardella Park. Police say 2 groups of people were walking to their cars on Church Street when they got into some kind of dispute. They say one of those groups fired a gun at the other group. 3 people were shot, 2 men and a woman. Police told us just minutes ago that they could not release how many shooters they are looking for. However, they said this is all still a very active investigation. Many people who live around here heard that gunfire and are still shaken up.
I heard what I thought actually was rapid fireworks. Right, you take a packet to a fireworks, you light the packet, it goes, but clearly that wasn't the case.
I never heard of it. It never happened in here. So, but I know that there was a basketball game and that there are tons of people.
Now, the 3 people who were shot are all expected to be okay. At last check, they had non-life-threatening injuries. Their identities have not yet been released. Police say they are all from the Bronx. If you know anything about what happened here, or if you have security footage, you are urged to call police. In White Plains of Westchester County, Melanie Palmer, News 12.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Issue that I'm having with yeah. So what y'all think? What y'all think? Grab my microphone. What do y'all think? Terrible, huh? So there you go, right there. You know, it's come on, just an argument, man. An argument. Dude, like, are you kidding? I'm like, are you kidding me? An argument. Um, and just it's terrible because now you have people who shot who had nothing to do with anything. Like nothing, they had nothing to do with anything, and now they're unfortunately suffering with injuries that they did not expect to have. Um, you know, uh, it's terrible because it's like, what's going on? There's this young man. I wish I could give him credit. I guess I guess we could say he has a viral moment. Uh, a viral video that's going on where he's discussing this shooting and really critiquing. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, man. I wish I remembered his name because he came across my timeline pretty quickly. I didn't anticipate it. Hold on, that's another news. Wait, hold on. So whoa, sorry. I'm trying to play another news clip of something else that so I don't want to play it yet, but um yeah. So this young man, I wish I could give him credit. He was just he comes up and he has a reel, I think is called, right, um where he's again critiquing the the people who did this. He's like, "What's going on with y'all?" And I think he does it in a clever way where it's like he's not. Well, he's just challenging the shit. You know what I mean? He's calling out the bullshit, the violence, man, and really speaking to how like this kind of behavior has a create like has a big ripple effect on the rest of the community. You know what I mean? Because what the news, the way I received it is that I think, and actually I should go back to the article. The way I received it is that supposedly that was since that's it, like it's done. It's gonna end, and that they're gonna actually shut it down. So actually, it does say it here. It says the city of White Plains released a statement canceling the championship game of the tournament originally scheduled for Sunday at the county center and shut down the league. Um, and the program has been running since 1984. Dogs, are you kidding me? Uh, wow. Okay, so this basketball program has been going on since 1984. And they're gonna shut it down. Uh, shutting it down after since 1984, something does make me wonder. I mean, obviously, there's got to be. I'm quite sure there's other things in the background that's leading to this decision. Because I mean, come on, let's be real. If they've been running since 1984, the 90s in New York City's had still the highest murder rate that the city's seen. So I don't know that we're there yet. I mean, we're definitely in a terrible spot. Um, but yeah, I would just be surprised if they haven't seen nothing like this before. That likely happened at one of these tournaments. But I mean, I'm also I'd be happy to be stand corrected if this league never experienced such a thing since 1984 in the city. That's a testament to the organization and likely those who run this tournament. So it's the Ferris World Ball. The founder is Gerard Seward. Hope I'm saying his name right. Um, but yeah, it's just terrible, man. Again, so going back to that the young man with the IG reel, and he's going off, man. He's like, "What's going on with you guys? Like, you're shooting people. One, you're probably not even part of the league. You definitely wasn't one of the ballers, so you wasn't balling out. You weren't none of the family members. You probably had nothing much to do with the league, and now because of your actions, it's gonna shut it down for everybody. And he goes on to like say that's why we can't have nothing nice. We can't have festivals. They're not doing block parties. And I do say I think there's a lot more reasons why we don't have block parties because listen, block parties were popping off in the 90s when murder was happening all over the place. So I think there's other reasons why we don't have recreational centers and recreational spaces. I think that is meant to keep us deprived and depressed and away from each other because when we have recreational activities, when we have things like tournaments and basketball leagues, it brings communities together. Unfortunately, though, and which will happen with this event, violence does bring about division, and this kind of violence, gun violence especially, because you can't come back from that, man. Them bullets fly a certain way, and you're done. But that's not the worst news. I received this recently. Another piece of news that struck me in terms of violence to keep this going. Let's back to screen share. So Another one that kept it going. Let me make sure that it's good right here because this is the one I was gonna play. This one made me sad too, man. But 14's arrested. This is News 12, the Bronx. 14's arrested in fatal stabbing of 14-year-old at the Williamsbridge Oval Playground. This happened. This reporting is from August 6th of 2025. So so last week, less than a week ago. Um, this happened around sometime last week, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that they have the exact date, but I'll play the clip here as well so you can hear this ridiculousness, man.
News 12's Noelle Lilly has been there at the scene where Angel Mendoza spent his last moments. And she even spoke with his heartbroken family and has details on those arrests just coming into our newsroom. Noelle, what are you learning?
Marissa, we're just finding all of this out, Marissa, from police. They tell us they have arrested 4 people in relation to the stabbing of those 2 teenagers, including Angel's death. Now, two of the people arrested, I should say, by police were 15 and 16 years old. So they are underage and police have not released their identity. But 2 people that they did identify for us, that is Jordan Williams, an 18-year-old, and then Andrew Asa, another 18-year-old. But again, a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old also arrested, and they're all facing charges related to gang, manslaughter, murder, and criminal possession of a weapon. As you said, I got a chance to speak with Angel's family at their home. They live only 5 minutes from here. All of the people arrested also live within walking distance of where Angel was stabbed. Take a listen to what his family had to say.
He was really calm and friendly, but he always wants to be behind his friends, and whatever his friends does, he was gonna do it. So he likes to play basketball.
La pizza.
And he loved pizza. The only thing that he could eat was pizza.
I spoke to Angel's father, Miguel, and his sister, Yunalin, about what happened and the kind of kid Angel was. His mother, Ramona, was too upset to speak. She was sobbing and clutching a pillow she says her son used to sleep with. It's a mother's worst nightmare. Now, sources close to the investigation say an argument happened at around 7:30, and things somehow escalated.
My daughter used to come to this park all the time, and I don't feel safe letting her come here. She knew the kid.
He was always a nice kid, always asking to come over to my house so we could play the game.
Was there ever any beef with anybody here?
Nah, not from what I remember.
When police got here, they found both Angel and a 17-year-old boy stabbed multiple times. That older child was taken to the hospital and is stable. Angel's family also told me that they did not know he was at the park at the time and thought he was at a friend's house. Now they just want whoever took Angel's life arrested.
He said that they have mothers and they need to see how Angel's mom looked right now. They say that they could have fight like without knife and stuff like that, not to get to that point.
And again, guys,
man, that's so there you have that one, man. So that happened recently, and that one worried me. I've been to that park. I've been to that park. I've been to that park. I've played sports there, and it's just terrible, man. And then I think even listening now, what's standing out to me is just the names, not the names, the ages. The age is always a terrible thing when you consider these are 14, 16-year-old young men throwing away their life. Just and I'm quite sure they don't view it that way. I'm quite sure it's not I'm throwing away my life. You're just on go. You're just on go. And again, summertime in New York City, you're just lit. And it's this energy, man, sometimes that's around you. I mean, I remember what it was like to be a teenager and be outside and with your guys. And there's this energy, man, of what is it? Invincibility. You kind of think you're untouchable. And if you don't feel that way, maybe your man's is feeling that way that summer. He's out with the chain now, with the nice hat, with the nice sneakers, with the nice fit, and so he's walking around like he's invincible. And then that energy is infectious. That energy is infectious. And so when I first heard this story, um, with the young man. So what is it? What's the young man's name? Was it Angel? So there was a reporting. I think this woman that kind of like a localized reporter as well. She does it through like social media. Again, I gotta get better at these resources, man, so I can share with folks. Because I listen, I'm the first to judge journalists who just name shit and say shit without resources, right? Like I there's too much misinformation in the world to not rely on the methods that has helped us throughout centuries as humans, which is to do proper research and follow through and follow up on resources to make sure everything is legit, to try to keep stories and events to the closest to the truth as possible, all sides, good or bad, etc. And so yes, I this woman, she reported like I guess she's a local reporter, and she also did a story. She added a little bit more to it by speaking to like I guess a friend who was there. And yeah, man, I remember that energy. It sounds like these young men. I mean, I wonder if we're gonna hear more. But it sounds like these young men. You know, there was this young man was with his boys. They were chilling in the park. Another group came through. They were mobbing, as we say. They approached these young men. See, that's what the news didn't report. But according to the other report, you know, it seems like they didn't know each other prior. It was again. It sounds like there was a group of teens that were mobbing. You with your crew. You're walking through the park. They see Angel, young man Angel, with his people. They're probably like 2, 3 deep with some girls. They approach him. Words are exchanged. So what the report says added that wasn't mentioned is that when these boys approached them, they all scattered. Angel didn't run, or that. And now what's not clear is whether he even had a chance to run or not. But according to this local reporter, which again I gotta get her freaking name because I just sound like a freaking moron saying local reporter. I gotta get her name, but according to that story, she was speaking to someone who was also again there at the park, another young woman, who says that they approached him, that kid, Angel wasn't about that life, but he stood there. I guess him and that 17-year-old that got stabbed, they both didn't really run. But what it sounds like to me is that they got cornered, and then I guess an argument ensued, and unfortunately, the two young men got stabbed, which is the part that just hurts, man. Because I'm like, they're so young. You don't gotta go there. Why? And then to get stabbed, like that's such a painful way to go out. That's a painful way. And I mean, death is not easy. Period, man. But come on, to get stabbed is a previous article was about a shooting. Not good. That's why I didn't. When I was saying like guns are dangerous, because they could, these bullets have no name and they can hit somebody and it's over. These knives too, man. These knives too. Just because you walk around with knives and you're thinking, oh, I could stab, I don't really. You could kill someone in a terrible fashion. So I don't know what's gonna. I doubt there's gonna be much done on like the you know uh, police forces. I mean, they're gonna do what they're doing so far, which is trying to, as best as possible, secure perimeter, secure neighborhoods, be present when things happen. I know it's also not easier said than done, and plus, we need more than just like police presence, man, and safety. And then that's unfair to just rely on police. Like if they're gonna solve an issue like this issue right here is so layered. Because again, it wasn't gang related, and even if it was, that's still, t- you know, that's still something to discuss as to why a gang related beef has to end in somebody dying, and that's so young. You know, there's just so much potential there for that's still untapped that we don't even know where it can take us. Uh, I mean, we don't even know what Angel would have meant for his community and his family. The young man is, 14. He he just entered his teenage years, basically. Didn't even get to enjoy it and start it and learn from it. And who knows what he would have been for his family. So, condolences, man, and heartfelt. It's really tough for the mom. I can't imagine to lose a young man, um, and your son so early. I mean, this is just terrible. I'm trying to look up some news real quick. Because this situation is just reminding me of something that happened when I was a kid. When I was in high school, 14 years old. Um, so let me see if it's still if I could find if I could find the article. Um, so when I was in high school, so it is here in 2005, but it's behind a paywall, so I can't show it. Oh man, dang it. Uh, I can't show. But anyway, yeah, when I was in high school, there was a 14-year-old on the four train, and actually there was grainy video of the incident where he was, unfortunately pressed. That was, also gang related. He was pressed, whatever. Long story short, the kid got unfortunately murdered by another one via stabbing with a machete, and that kind of rocked the city for a bit, especially myself. I was like, oh man, do I have to start walking around with a knife? Like, what's going on? And again, I'm 14, 15, so it's kind of crazy to think back to say like at that age I was already kind of gearing myself up as if like I gotta go to war. And then again, it sucks because it's in my own community, man. We're already oppressed as it is. Um, we are already oppressed as it is. And so it sucks to just think back, for the fact that this is happening. So it makes me feel, it makes me feel again, like I said, that's why I started with, like, right. I feel I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I do feel grateful for the moments that I'm having with in my life. I am taking note of it and being appreciative, and then also again concerned because, look, man, it wasn't that long ago. I knew this was going to be a thing, but if you see here, right, this is from May 14th of 2025. ABC News already had articles talking about the growing concern over gun violence in the Bronx after shooting involving kids, and now you see here they're already highlighting that the numbers are going up. So we're in a bad spot heading to the summer. We kind of already knew we were in a bad spot um, since May, and things haven't gotten any better. So, what's the solution, you ask? Well, I do think that's definitely one that I will not be able to answer. And since this is usually a live stream panel discussion, if I'm asking, the question of what do I think could be done, um, I mean, spitball, like quick rapid fire answer, I do think one, there has to be a community reinvestment. And what I mean by that, I do think there is just a overall of lack of development happening for communities, tailored to those community needs. So one, we do know that there's, you know poverty all around, and so where there's poverty, there's issues like violence. So there has to be a way to address the poverty, or again through community reinvestment, develop the platforms and the spaces where people that people's needs are being met, which then offsets the 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 issue of poverty or the issue of lacking, because even these kinds of events and the violence is everywhere, man. So even folks who are making 100K 150K a year, families, right? Yeah, you're making your more money than folks, and you're likely living more comfortably. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck off your 150K a year, you're probably still struggling too, and you're basically in poverty. You're just in comfortable poverty. So even for those folks, right? I think they themselves could also there's also a need there for them to feel safe and still have their needs met, because it seems like we're all towing the poverty line regardless of where we're at and these days, right? So again, from the first of making 10K a year to the person making 200K a year. We're probably a lot of us towing that poverty line because we're either, again, paycheck to paycheck. Again, just those with that bread making just living more comfortably. And so I go back to we need those spaces, man. We need like 'cause now this is a long-winded answer. But we need to bring back community programs, workshops, places for mothers to go to, right? Daycares, evening daycares. More, we have all these yoga classes for the young millennials, but we need more than just yoga classes for tired moms and the tired dads of these communities who are working hard. But maybe not a yoga class, but maybe something that they can go and either get fed. Maybe it's a community event. Churches used to do this a lot more, but I know there's been issues with the churches as it is, but they're struggling to get people to walk through their doors. But even churches used to kind of hold it down with these like weekly or every other day meetings that were held where people would be fed, have a good time, music, or just be in community with people and feel that love and attention, right? So we just need more spaces like that in the city here. I think simply we could bring back the programs like the PAL. I know some places in the city still do this where throughout the summer, for a certain period of time, they close down a street and it's just and it's during the day from like I don't know from like 9 to 5, and it's basically for the kids of the community to enjoy, to be outside. Right, close the street down so there's no cars passing through. And we need more of those throughout more communities. I know that'll annoy the shit out of a lot of drivers here in New York City, but we need more of those, especially the young kids, man. Because you see these 14-year-olds and these 16-year-olds, at some point they were 8, 9, and 10, and 11, and they also needed some place to be. And where are they gonna play? Not a lot of places for them to play. So where they at? They online. They're at home. They're playing video games, or they're talking, or they're consuming social media. And what do we know is happening in social media? A lot of bullshit. And if they're sitting at home and they have all day to just internalize all these messages that they're getting from our media, it's also not a good thing. Especially again, these young men in New York City. I mean, I listen. I like the energy of drill music. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I've said it before, but the content really worries me. It's hard to get into because it is. It has that aggressive energy, that aggressive, violent energy in it, and it's definitely the type of music that will provide the soundtrack to someone who is towing the line of aggression. I'm pretty sure a lot of people listen to drill and they get hype, and if you weren't thinking about beating somebody up, now you're gonna do it. And so again, going back to like these 8, 9, 10, 7, 11-year-old boys, young boys who are at home listening to this type of stuff, and now they're emulating. Now they think they got it, and then they become, now you're 13, 14, and you go through this growth spurt, right? You go through this different type of maturation, and so now you are outside with it, right? In the case of for the young man at the park, right? His mom didn't even know he was at the park, right? So you make this decision now when you're 14, where you say, I'm gonna go to my friend's house, and then you and your friend decide, yo, let's go outside because my mom lets me go outside. Your mom don't let you go outside. My mom does. So come to my house. My mom will let us go outside, and then we're both outside. Listen, it happens. Is it okay? No, but it happens. I'm not saying that that's what happened in these guys' cases, but again, just speaking to like the development, man, and like at each step of the way, who's having, I know it myself because I'm still connected to the youth, and I see how very often I'm usually one of the very few adults who's in their lives who at all is even pointing out the layers and the issue with some of the media and some of the music that they're consuming, especially when I point out how violent it is. I've had pushback from youth still tell me like, you're like the only one who's actually had this kind of conversation with me about what I'm consuming. So I do think that as adults and as older siblings, I think we could do a better job of having open conversations, even if we don't get it ourselves. But I think it's important to talk to the youth and not wait till they're 13, 14. I'm talking about adolescent, because They're not grabbing the tablet for the first time when they're 14, 13. That's it. That was back in the days. Back in the days when back in, back in the days when you got, when you went through your developmental phases, you really started unlocking things. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, when I was an adolescent, even though I had access to some shit, like I remember the first time I saw porn wasn't as a teenager. It was actually unfortunate as an adolescent, right? Um, but like I didn't fully get no access to it or knew how to until my teenage years. So there was still this period where like I was still kept away from it. Then from my teenage years to my my older teen years, there were certain things I didn't get access to until I became an older teen, right? And then my young college days, right? A kid, by the time you're 5 years old, if you know how to work an iPad, you've unlocked access to information across the world. You're going to YouTube, you can see, and now there's a plethora of hood tour videos. So now, if you're a little kid and you want to see what it's like in the hood, you just tap in these videos, you can see. And then you can start to make up and again already get all these messages. And if you're a young man and you have older siblings, older cousins, they're listening to drill music, and now you're curious. Now you could look up drill music. See? When I heard music, when I first heard dance hall, right? When I first heard Murder She Wrote, action, like when I heard all that, I didn't have free access to it. I only was able to hear that type of music when my uncles were playing it. And then when I go over, and then they'll play it again. But I didn't know where to find it. Unless I heard it on the radio. But then dancehall wasn't even played on the radio like that. So I didn't have access to it. But if that happens now, if I'm a 5-year-old now, 6-year-old, 7 years old, I probably will have access to the internet. My uncles will be playing something that I'm going to be curious about, and then I'm going to be able to look it up right away. And then I'm going to be able to continue consuming it for an infinite amount of time. So these conversations have to start earlier with the youth. That's another solution. So aside from community reinvestment, talking to the youth, that's another solution I think about, and continuing to just have open conversations with them, but also ourselves. I think adults, we're consuming this stuff and we're not questioning it enough. I also see adults being guilty of consuming these things that are not good for us and just allowing it and being like, and rationalizing with the fact that we're adults and we're like, well, we're never gonna do that stupid shit. And so we just, allow it to exist and consume it and be okay with it when in reality there's a lot of things we should be really calling out and not accepting and calling, and just dubbing. Um, because it is terrible out here. What's my runtime? Wow. Fuck around, I've already been an hour. Shout out to that. Well, just about an hour because I started about 12, 10 minutes in while I was, and then I had some issue uh, working the OBS real quick. So, yeah, I mean, I'm good to leave it at that. I'm gonna actually, because it's 10:30 as well. I do go to work tomorrow. I do have a job still, so I'm not gonna. I'll pause there because I do want to at least get to this beat. And do a little bit of that. Put this beat together and maybe do that for like the next few minutes. Uh, but yeah, violence is just not good. I think, I think for young men, if you're listening to this, hopefully this gets to you. I don't, you are more than what society is telling you. You do not have to conform to this idea of masculinity. I think that continues to be sold to us, that tells us that we have to be violent, that tells us that violence is what we should expect. Violence is something that we should welcome and embrace because it will be part of our lives. I think violence is an issue that society in general has to deal with. We're not inherently violent. I think a lot of us are still being brainwashed with what we're consuming, and it makes us violent. In addition to the shit that we go through, makes us act out in aggressive and violent ways. And so I just want to highlight that for a second, um, and just share that. Like, again, if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, if you find yourself panicking and just frustrated with the way things is going in the world, just remember you can always make a different choice. You know, I know we like to deny it to ourselves, but a lot of us do things for male validation. A lot of us do things for our boys. A lot of us are embarrassed to do things because of our boys and other men, and we're afraid of what they might think first before what anyone else thinks. A lot of us denies it to ourselves, but a lot of us men still do, and unfortunately act out because of our we're other men, you know, that validation. We're looking for that approval, and maybe you're not looking for your boys to congratulate you, but again, in the case of people who just argue in the street and get to stabbing, like, you know, maybe you're trying to, like, that person that brushed you on the street, you want them to validate you, and so now you got to say something to them, because why did they bump you, right? So now you got to make sure that that man that bumped you validates you and acknowledges you and says sorry or whatever. Don't fucking bump into me. Well, you got a prop, right? Like, it's all validation, man. It's all for the validation of another man, and we don't need that. We need to let that go. Because low key, that's one of the things that I think we've been brainwashed with. I think a lot of these movies sold that to us. It sold us this idea that we need to be listening to other men, that our purpose is to one up each other, that we should derive our confidence from being better than other men. Like, no, our confidence should not come from trying to think that we're better than someone else. We shouldn't feel confident because we end up having more than the next man has. No, never. Stop that. Your confidence should arrive from you knowing that you are the shit yourself, that you have something to live for, that there's things in you that is worthy, is worth it, and it exists beyond any material thing. So I would say check yourself, man. Check yourself and really ask yourself if your decisions are being made because you're trying to gain the respect of other men. And as weird as I fucking sound, because I know, again, I can hear the boys, I can hear men that I've worked with a bunch of men over. I can hear the pushback already. I ain't thinking about no fucking man. I humor me and just try it. Really ask yourself, how many decisions did you not hold yourself back from because you were thinking low key about what another man is gonna say? Think about the times you needed help and you didn't ask for help because you were afraid or embarrassed or whatever about what another man would say. Think about how many times you didn't speak up because you were waiting until another man spoke up, even though there's probably women that are saying some shit that you need to be listening to, but you're waiting. You low key was waiting for the man to say it. Just pay attention, dogs, because I think that's one of the things that's been holding us back. And I think one of the things that society has been feeding us as men for a long time, at least as long as I've been born, it's been feeding us this idea that we need to continue, like, we need to do things to really please other men. You know, they tell women that, but they're telling us too. They're telling us too. And, you know, low key, I've always said that then in this country, that means that what that also means is that they want to make sure that the men at the bottom, the black men, listen to what white men say, because ultimately it'll be their word. All right. So just pay attention, man. And don't let that be you, man. Remember, it's the manuscript. It's the man you want to script, the man you want to be. All right. The man that you say you are. Not what another man's saying. Not what another dude is thinking about. What do you think first? All right. Now, there are some great men to follow and to that have been here before us, that I think through their own trials and tribulations have been able to now share their own wisdom that they've gained and how they've been able to gain their confidence as men, how to feel comfortable in their own skin, how to feel secure. Because I think a lot of us men are walking around with insecurities, man, still. And again, the case in point of some of this violence that's happening in the city still, it speaks to insecurity. You know, speaks to insecurity. You know, and it speaks to from a place of lacking. So I don't like it. I hope that we can be better than that. I hope that we can be better than that. All right. So let's get to these beats, man. Let me see how I can make this work. Make this work. I also make this work. Call back to my series, man. So how can I? This is gonna be a little bit of a challenge for me because now I'm working with OBS and another one and another one. So let's go here. All right, set up this screen. This is my screen now. You see it. This is the beat session. Let's get this going. All right, we got the 80th for the 80th fat right here. Bam. All right, so now I just got to change the screen capture, make sure that y'all see what we're working with. Today we'll be working with FL Studio. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. And now I'm also going to be working with, I have this beat I was setting up via Splice. Yeah, so shout out to Splice. I will say, I was the biggest hater, and then I can't lie, I became a believer. And so the track I'm gonna put together today is really just what I would say, I don't know. Actually, it's pretty much the whole beat. So Splice has this feature, just their phone app, which in the past just allowed you to listen to their samples that they have in their library, and obviously for any producer or any creator, that just meant that you on the phone you listen to the ideas on the go, and yeah, you download the ones you like or save. You can either save them to your phone if I'm not mistaken, or just save them into your own library, personal library. You get home, and then obviously you start to work with the beat. So now what they've created was this I guess mini looper, if you will. They created a looper which allows you to basically now put together all the samples you found off of their library, and then it allows you to put it together and start sketching ideas on the go. Because now you could look at things and be like, oh, I like that. I don't know. I like that melody right there. I'm gonna mix it with this, and then you could on the fly. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been having some fun with that. I discovered that I can do this. I don't know. When did I figure out that they had this feature? It's called Stacks, I believe. I'm probably late to the game, to be honest, because I was late when it came to Spice in general. So, but whatever. So now what I've been doing recently is just kind of like, anyway, going back to, I found these samples, and then I grabbed them, and then I just put them together. I start setting it up. And I forgot I have access to a mouse. So that's what I pretty much do. I start setting up my samples, and as you can see, they allow you to grab up to 8 samples, or loops, or whatever the case may be, and allow you to put it together, stack them so that you can, start to build a beat. And it's pretty freaking impressive because you can grab up to 8 bars, and honestly, 8 bars is what you need to build build a strong foundation for these beats. And so I have this one cooking up so far. Let's see. I probably don't want to. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I'm gonna play. I started off with this loop right here that I was fucking with. Just gotta make sure you can hear it actually in the first place. You can. Perfect. All right. So I found that, and then I'm like, oh, this sounds so fire. And then this next tape that I have in mind, it's gonna have a little bit of a more upbeat flavor to it, as you can hear by this. Oh, this is so smooth, man. I fuck with this so hard. right, so I this is what I have so far. I just set this up. Let's see. I gotta. So I'm gonna set it up like I guess I'll do hook. I'll do the verse. I guess the verse I can make it 16 bars. It's a long ass verse. But fuck it. The verse needs to be that long. And maybe I could do like a bridge. Start the hook right here. So then I'll do the bridge right here. This is music creating 101, y'all. So some people, you know, they know how to sequence music off the top of their head and they do off the playlist. But for me, it's kind of helpful to go back and like actually write, you know, like start to like sequence the music already. So I added time markers. So that's actually really helpful for those of you who are like stuck. I use time markers so that again it keeps me it allows me to basically think of the next move. So okay, so because now if I know that's my intro, then I already start to think what would I want my intro to sound like, and how can I make it lead into, you feel me, a verse, and then how can I make it lead to a bridge, and how can I make it lead to a hook. So that's obviously the meat and potatoes of the beat. So I'm gonna make that the hook already. You know what I'm saying? By doing this. Boom. So I got the bridge the wrong way because the bridge is supposed to be right here like this. The bridge will be 8 bars long, and then the hook will be like that, right? So now that I got my whole beat laid out, from here you just start muting shit. You know, obviously I don't think the drums are gonna go first, so I can just mute it. So that's gonna fade in, and I think I could fade in this right here. Fade in the bass. So it's the voices. I don't think the voice needs to go first. I don't think this needs to go first. This is not gonna go. Yeah, you see. So already it's just on a, you know, sequence, man. Just you saw how I stripped it. You notice how the whole thing was looking, right? And already it's stripped down to a few sounds, and then the difference it makes to just play it. Because sometimes, you know, you might get stuck on a beat, and it's just a matter of sequencing your beat. You might not even need to add too much more bells and whistles. Sometimes people are looking for like, oh my God, I need to add like an extra hook. Sometimes you don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you already got an infectious beat, you might as well rock with what you have and try to figure out how to like do things like this. You know, sequence it, get it to like drop and start. You know what I'm saying? So obviously that part is amazing. So if the verse ends here, then that means I think the vocals I wanted to fade in here. Oh wow, that's actually a shorter verse, so I could probably add another verse. See, so ideally, I would find another bass line that goes here, something that'll switch things up, and then I could do like a. See that? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, like, you know, sequences a little bit later, because. See, but right there, I would have to add like a cymbal or like a crash, you know. And then another crash right there, probably. If you think about the build up. So now that I'm listening to this, yeah, I do think the hook needs a little more, you know, or maybe I could find like, maybe I should look for like an alternative bass line. Maybe if I could get an alternative bass line, that would be great. Yeah, I should try to find an alternative bass line because not an alternative bass line. I think an alternative, just another sound, maybe one more. You know what I'm saying? To just complement it. I think it's just missing one more thing to complement. See, because it's so smooth. I fuck with this, but I think I need a better bass line too. Let's see what we got here. But right, it don't matter. So now, can you see arcade? Arcade is pretty cool, man. Arcade is also, if you don't know about arcade, arcade is freaking fire, man. To just enjoy like jamming out. It's pretty fun. You can't see it now. I don't know why it's not recording the window, but it's all good. Let's see what we got. So what I'm doing right now is just trying to match. So I took another sample just to give it a try. So what I want to do is try to match. I try to match the key. Actually, I was tracking that one. Go back down. Let's go back. Mierda. Ese me gustó ahí. Yeah, then this one. So what I did is, you see me, I just dragged another bass sample. It's basically the same sample up here, but I just trying to add some changes. Like I said, it's good to have. That's it. That's the beat, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna do too much. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably shouldn't do too much to a beat. You shouldn't do too much. I mean, it needs more bells and whistles and stuff, but it's 11 o'clock, and that's about all the time I have. So I'm gonna just put this. You know what I'm saying? Put this one away. You feel me? Because I'm not trying to last too long on this shit. You know what I mean? Just keep it this way, and then I'll probably, like, I don't know, just sequence it a little bit more and then get out of here. All right. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap for the quick beat making. Quick. Again, it was real quick. I definitely went through it way quick, but if you were tapping in, you could always go back, play this again, see the techniques. Again, it was very simple. As you can see, I didn't really even add too much. I obviously I added more samples, but or more loops, I guess, if you will, but it wasn't nothing crazy. I mean, it was basically the same loops from the same sample pack just to keep everything consistent. So if you're somebody who works with loops and you're not a programmer, so you're not gonna play your own drums or whatever, or you're not gonna play your own melodies on the keyboard, it's okay to still work with loops. I mean, again, hip hop's origin story comes from sampling anyway, taking pieces from other music and putting it together. So if you slapping some things together, if you have a strong base, again, I suggest you just throw it in your program, whatever you're using, your DAW, and start just tracking things out, removing things, muting stuff, taking out the drums, putting it back on. And you probably got a beat right there. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you that are sitting on a lot of ideas, quote unquote, that you started, and probably think to yourself that you can't finish. But it's only a matter of like listening to it. So what I do now is like, the next tape, as I mentioned earlier, now that you to bring it back to that, the next tape is gonna be more of these tracks, man. I've been going crazy with my upbeat, more dance, Afrobeat, dance hall inspired, instrumentals. So I'm sticking to that route. And so this next tape, I got a bunch of records, like beats like this that I'm putting together, that feel good and sound good to me. I mean, this one, what I'm probably gonna do with this one, more than likely, is I'm probably gonna end up just adding more bells and whistles once I listen to it a little bit more often. I know I definitely need to do that, but once I do that, it's gonna come together. But yeah, this is probably gonna go on that tape I'm talking to you about. So once I add a few more bells and whistles, like a cymbal, and once I sit with the beat, I'm gonna have some ideas of like what to do and how I want to like add more flavor to it. Because while it's mostly complete, I do think it could use a couple more things just to add my sauce to it and a little bit more my flavor. I probably will add my own melody on top of it just to make it more whatever. But anyway, neither here nor there. So yeah, man, thank you everybody for whoever tuned in. If you tap in much later again, thank you for that as well. I did go off on a very important rant. Again, this is the Manuscript. This is the 80th. It's your boy Al. So just letting y'all know. Again, thank you again for anybody. Hope you enjoyed this quick beat making video as well. I'll present more of it. Don't take my ideas though, man. If you out there, don't be taking my ideas, man. Do your own shit. It's that simple. All right. Catch you on the next one, y'all. Peace.